edition of Mai Tai TV. I'm George, and this is
Hambone.
And this is Mai Tai TV, as you already know, because we already said it, and it was in the title screen. Today, we'll be talking about The Walking Dead, which is coming back
On Valentine's Day. Super excited.
this Sunday. We'll be rejoining Rick and his cast of characters to fight zombie hordes and potentially some pretty evil humans, too. Also, we'll be talking about...
We are also going to be making the Dark and Stormy for you tonight, which is an exceptional cocktail.
We wanted something simple. After we took 4 hours to make the painkiller last week, I was like,
Yeah.
let's do something a little bit easier than the painkiller. What else will we be talking about?
We're also going to be talking about Daniel Bryan's retirement.
Daniel
A
Bryan.
little later in the show, the tearjerker section of the show.
Speaking of badass people, we're going to be talking about badass women, superheroes, television stars. We just love this resurgence, this divas revolution, so to speak.
An actual Divas Resolution.
Yeah, a month with super women, and just, it's amazing. It's amazing. We're actually missing Agent Carter right now to
We
shoot
are.
this.
Yeah.
So watch this DVR Agent Carter.
Yes.
And finally, we are finally going to be able to talk about virtual reality and how it affects video games and the future of porn, and it's going to be awesome. So let's get started with a cocktail.
Love it.
So today we went a little bit simple. We've got the Dark and Stormy. It was invented in Bermuda. How it was created is tricky. Nobody really knows. Something about pirates and more pirates
Well,
and
I'm
the
sold.
Bermuda Triangle. It's not quite tiki, but it's still really good. The key here is Gosling's Black Seal Rum. I don't know why, but this is like the drink of the Dark and Stormy. We need 2 ounces of this bad boy. We're going to make 2 drinks tonight. I forgot to make one ahead of time. What a surprise. I forgot something.
Oh, it's okay.
1. Oh, we're spilling on the phone.
See, it's the one night that I forgot to bring out the paper towel. See, now we're even.
2. Pop me open a ginger beer.
Well,
This
you
is
get that.
3.
Multitask.
Yeah, multitask.
Mhm.
3 ounces of ginger beer.
It's teamwork, making the dream work.
We also, well, luckily we have stirrers built in with, there we go. We're probably just got the top. So keep putting some ice in there. Give me more ice, damn it.
Oh, I mean, you're already making enough of a mess on your own.
Oh, come on now.
Come on now.
Just give me more. Give me my ice before I make you stir more Coke and thing. And then we do,
Still buying you a Vitamix.
we do half an ounce of lime juice, which is usually about one half of a lime. I'm not even drunk yet. This is going to be the most amazing Dark and Stormy ever.
I bet it is.
I'm so going to top you off with ginger beer. Ginger beer.
There you go.
This is going to drive me nuts. I'm going to go get some paper towels.
He
Keep talking
doesn't
about
have
Dark
OCD or
Stormy.
anything. He's just running across the room to get paper towels. So this is a favorite drink of one of our best and dearest friends, Sean Dillon. He makes them all the time. It's one of the highlights about going to his apartment. That and his playlists. And his decor. This is a pretty sweet apartment.
John, take a sip. Let me know what you think.
Well, thank
I
you.
would stir it up a little bit.
All right. And I love drinking drinks out of straws. I don't know why, but a bendy straw works for me on a lot of levels.
There is nothing better than drinking a drink out of straw. Is it pretty good?
Perfect.
Traditional Dark and Stormies do not have lime.
Really?
Yeah, at least that's what I read.
So what brings you to add the lime to it then?
Because Esquire magazine told me so, and they said it helps cut the bitterness of the ginger.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to agree. I've been trusting Esquire magazine with my fashion sense
So
for
again,
years.
that's 2 ounces of Gosling. It is a half a lime, which is usually about half an ounce of lime juice.
All right.
Hit that. Say battery saver. You did not. That's okay. Someone wrote to us.
That drink could use a garnish. Oh, well,
Well,
funny that you mentioned that.
Because
Got it right here.
we have our garnish. And then I'm just topping this off with ginger beer.
Just give it a
So
topper.
I'm not the biggest fan of ginger.
Nor am I. It actually gives me heartburn pretty instantaneously. And that's why I carry Rolaids in my pocket at all times.
I find that one of the most dude things to do in life
Right.
is have Rolaids or Tums in your pocket.
It really does work. I mean, every time I go to a bar now, someone's always like, ah, and I'm like, oh, got it. I used to carry a lighter, but no one really smokes anymore. Nor should they.
That is damn good.
Damn fine drink, my friend.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
To ginger and beer and rum. And we're ready for another edition of Mai Tai TV. Let's talk about The Walking Dead.
Let's talk about zombies.
So last we left Rick, I think the previous half of the last season was just, let's give up on this because it's probably not going to work. So we might not be taking your questions today. We're sorry. The big thing we left it on last year was they had spent like 6-8 episodes in like the course of like 24 hours, correct? Right. And they were under attack by a swarm of zombies that had come from some weird rock quarry somewhere.
In the quarry, right.
And at the same time, they were under siege by this other group. The Wolves. We left it pretty much where the wall was collapsing. Was that the end? A tower took down the wall. It was a big cliffhanger.
18-wheeler.
18-wheeler.
And the horn was going off and everyone's freaking out.
Yeah.
I really think they do a good job with the show because they will actually have 3 different things going on through 3 different episodes. So you kind of watch in a way where you hear the horn going off and you're like, what the hell's going on? Then you have another episode about the horn going off. And it really does take you on a pretty fun journey. And I actually like how they've gotten a little more violent and a little more quick pace with the violence over the last few seasons, which is, you can only watch zombies walking so fast.
I find the show is still very artistic. I think the best part of the show is that they've had a stable writing team for the past 3 seasons, I believe.
I think
there hasn't been that. The first 3 seasons, I believe they were switching the writing team and the showrunner every single season. And you could tell it was like the last 3 seasons of Dexter where they had like a completely different feel to it every single season. Yeah. And it ruined the show. But I found that the last 3 seasons, there's been more consistent writing. You got a little bit of that artsiness, but you also had a lot of zombies.
Right.
There was gore.
And the gore is great on The Walking Dead.
So we're really excited this season because they will introduce Negan, who is the bad guys. I don't think he's as great as the governor was.
Okay, so I read the comics up to a certain point. Seeing the governor and the guy who played the governor, I think he really brought the character like fully to life. Like, Robert Kirkman wrote a great story writing the character, creating the character, but the guy, and his name of course escapes me on the spot, did a great job really adding dimension to the character. Like, you really kind of wanted to feel for the governor, but then you were like, I can't wait till he gets shot.
I absolutely disagree with you.
Really?
I think the governor on the TV show was a wuss. I thought he kind of sucked. I thought it was boring. He was a great actor. I completely believe he was a great actor, but it was such a half-assed version of the governor's story. I mean, in the book, they literally, first of all, I think he's the one who cuts off Rick's hand in the comic book. He doesn't do it here. He rapes and beats Michonne for weeks.
Right.
Like, until she's like nothing left.
Well, but I mean, there's only like so much you can get away with on TV. Then she
cuts him down to an. Oh, he hurt her a little bit. He hurt her feelings.
So many minutes.
Oh my God, I'm so hurt by your feelings. No, like if you want to break a woman, you do what you do with that, and like that made for a great comic book. I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm not anti-women at all, as we're going to talk about later. I just feel that to truly hate a man and want them dead, you gotta do more than hurt her feelings. Wow. So when she finally gets out and she finds him, she cuts him to the point where he's a paraplegic and barely alive and should be dead. But then he survives. And his like paraplegic body gets mounted into a tank and he comes and he kills Laura and the baby. And it's the most insane thing I've ever seen in the history of comic books.
You know what the most insane thing I think I've ever seen is?
What?
When you go, his little paraplegic body goes bouncing around like this, and he goes in a tank.
But I'm right, right?
I think you're right.
Like, I'm sorry, but the TV show kind of wussed out on the, like, look, the point of The Walking Dead is that the zombies suck, but humans suck more. Like, that's what it is. Humanity blows, and we're probably better off with the zombies. And Negan, who's coming in this season, he does something even worse than the governor does. So we are hoping. I will not spoil it.
I was just going to say.
I will not spoil it.
There would have been some, like, 15 angry people on the internet about this.
But I do believe that, like, if they hold back on that, like, baseball bat scene, I will be very upset.
I don't think they will.
I mean, after seeing Fargo.
Oh, yeah.
After seeing True Detectives, I know people. Oh, Hannibal.
Yeah, I've only gotten through season 1. Do not spoil it for me.
There's nothing to spoil. You know the
I
storyline.
do
You
know the
read the
storyline.
books. You've seen the movies.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is incredible. So that's me. I'm excited for Walking Dead because I enjoyed the last 2 seasons. I think the story is slow build. I think there's gore. I think there's violence. I'm like, right on. It's good, but jury's still out on whether they'll be able to, like, at the very end, still make it as awesome as it should be.
I don't know, man. They get away with a lot on AMC.
Yeah, it's just the story. It's about the story, not about the violence. It's just the violence commands the story, drives my interest, drives my love for Walking Dead. Which, by the way, I did stop reading the comic book after this storyline.
Right.
Just because I got tired of trying to find them.
Right.
I've started buying the books and they're just collecting dust. But
Yeah,
I really, for those of you who want to play along with the TV show, Walking Dead Book 9 is what we're about to go on. This is the hardback books by Image Comics. You should be reading these anyway if you're a fan. I actually think the TV show is better than the comic. After what I've just said, I'm going to go back and say I think the TV show is actually better at building the characters. Having them in a black and white comic book, they seem to just blend together. There's other than Rick and a couple other people, the personalities are just there. They're just cannon fodder. I know they do that in the TV show with some of the new people.
Oh, they have to.
But I still have a better idea of who the cast of characters are. Do you agree?
Look, I agree. Zombie gotta eat somebody.
What issue did you make it up to?
Dude, I probably got right up to the governor's storyline. My thing with The Walking Dead was I think it's really well written. I'm a voracious reader.
Mm-hmm.
I read really fast. So my problem with it was I'd spend whatever it was, like $4 on the comic, and I'd read it in like 5 minutes. So then I would tell myself, all right, I'm just going to wait for the trades to come out. And then I just completely forgot to start buying the trades because I got wrapped up in the TV show. So I know I should go back. Probably going to borrow them from you.
And at this point, I mean, it is an investment because they're like $20 each.
Right.
They're up to 12 books, so you're spending a decent chunk of change.
Right, but at least when you buy it by the book, especially for a person like me who reads fast, when you buy it by the book, you're at least going to get like almost like a movie's length of enjoyment out of the experience, rather than I'm done.
Well, I'm a trade paperback person.
You are.
I'm not a fan. I've read comic books when I was a kid. Like, I would buy comic books every week. Like, all my money would go to comic books. And then I realized I now have an attic full of comic books I read once, bagged and backed, and they're sitting in my parents' attic collecting dust.
Yeah.
Though, Mom, do not sell them because they're going to bankroll my future endeavors. That said, they're in my parents' attic.
Yeah.
I actually have replaced most of my comic books with trade paperbacks, which is hilarious.
You have them in 2 forms now.
Yeah, I have them in trade paperback, but it's just easier to read.
It is easier to read.
I
agree.
You got me into the Marvel Universe app, though. Talk a little bit about that.
So I've been on the Marvel Unlimited app for a while now. It is awesome. It's $10 a month, and you get every back issue. Essentially, I think the way they have it laid out is it's every issue from 5 months ago and before, which is an awesome way to read comics, especially if you're a guy who loves to read comics like I do. It's a great way to read your books because if you're like, oh man, you know what? I really want to read the Infinity Gauntlet again. Boom, right there at your fingertips. Like, oh, you know what? I really want to read Civil War again before the movie comes out, but I don't want to go to Mom's attic and try to dig out the issues and unboard and whatever. You pop it right on there. You could download some if you want to read them on the plane. You could just read them live over Wi-Fi. And it's great, too, because there's a lot of great titles out there that, you know, as you get older, you don't have the disposable income to just buy every book that you see because it looks cool.
But that's actually when you do have the disposable income to buy every issue that looks cool.
Right. But
or reclaim your youth.
Or reclaim your youth. Then again, you buy that issue and you're like, oh, I just spent $4 on this, and this is a garbage book.
Yeah.
So this way, that crapshoot is completely taken out of the equation. What I love about it is there's books that I read, Secrets of the Unknown, which was a Disney themed book based on a ride that they never made, that I probably would never have bought in the comic shop. However, I got a lot of enjoyment out of reading it when I was reading it on the app because it's all folded into the $9.99 I pay a month for it.
So we're actually going to do we're going to skip around a little bit because this crosses into a very sad thing about the Marvel Universe app, which is that they don't have the mid to late 90s R-rated Marvel Knights Max comic books.
They do. They add more. The thing is, they don't have everything all at once right now, but every week they add more and more books.
They actually can't because there is no way to do parental control on the app.
Oh.
So Alias...
Okay.
Also known as Jessica Jones for you
Netflix
fans.
You're right.
is not on the app. And that sucks because you're there watching Jessica Jones, which is one of the best TV shows on television right now.
I was thinking of Marvel Knights, which they have been coming out because they were a little bit
I think
more
it was Max.
adult,
Maybe that's what it's called, Marvel Max.
Yeah, you're right, Max.
It was their R-rated line.
Yeah, it was definitely R-rated. That's where the one
Punisher?
The Punisher came out. And the Punisher, it was definitely, I think it was Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon doing it because they did it, and they did it, you know, up to snuff for the Marvel U, and then they did it on the Max line, and it was just complete what you'd expect from Ennis and Dillon, which was awesome.
So Jessica Jones, one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
Oh my God, yes.
I love the fact that right now women are finally getting their chance to truly be badass.
Absolutely.
In comic books, in wrestling, in television, in I don't know about video games. Tomb Raider's back. That was pretty good, but in general, there has been a push for a woman to be a strong lead.
Right.
Do you think there's a reason for this? Do you think it's just timing? Do you think people are just tired of the same old, same old?
I think it's just time. I think that you get people who've been writing the same stories over and over and over again. And I think people are finally ready to have that really strong lead. I mean, this year alone, we had Jessica Jones, we had Rey in Star Wars, The Force Awakens. Peggy Carter is now on her second season, which is huge. So I mean, there's a lot. I mean, oh great, they're all Marvel properties now that I think about them out loud. But you know, it's
Disney
strong.
properties.
Disney properties.
And that's a great thing. Yeah. I mean, on the wrestling side, we have had this, well, excuse me, wow, this is awesome, but it gets the gas, it's flowing.
Yeah.
On the wrestling side, we've had this so-called Divas Revolution, which is what it is. Women now have a lot more time on wrestling. There's usually 2 matches, but even better on the, I guess they're minor leagues, NXT.
NXT.
There is so many women that are being built up in the pipeline to come out and kick ass.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we saw the Bayley, Sasha Banks Iron Woman match, which was just
a half hour of awesome.
Awesome. Like you could not, you know, a lot of times when you watch something like wrestling, a lot of people, you know, we don't have the best of attention spans. However, that Iron Woman watch, I don't think I looked at my phone once. I don't think anything else was going on in the world because I was just so focused on what was happening in that ring, and I think that's awesome.
I love the fact that in Star Wars, Rey, correct? Sometimes I call her Kylo Ren. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's so close.
Rey doesn't need anyone's help.
No, she doesn't.
Like, even when she's like, looks like she needs someone help, boom, she solves on her own. People ask her, do you need help? No, I don't need help.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be. That's why, I mean, it shouldn't just be dumb, steroid-bound men like the Arnold Schwarzenegger Rambos of the world. And this is not just because, like, I grew up surrounded by women in a, like...
powerful role.
Yeah, I wouldn't because all I had was sisters. I truly get excited to see something that's not just the stereotype.
Well, for me, the first time I ever, like, was like, all right, this is awesome, was Aliens.
Yes.
Aliens, because, I mean, you know, as a kid, you grow up, you know, you get G.I. Joes, you grow up, and then, like, G.I. Joes, you only got, like, Scarlet, and then Lady J eventually, CoverGirl, and it's like...
CoverGirl didn't count.
Okay, all right. But every season you got like one more girl. You know, but all the TV shows you're watching, it's all very male driven. Then I'm watching Aliens, and then here's Ripley. And she's surrounded by Marines, and these Marines are getting taken out left and right. In the end, her and the Queen Alien, she gets in the power lifter, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm sold. This is like all I want to say.
So I agree with you. I raised you. My favorite was, and this is the other Alias, the Jennifer Garner Alias series.
No, I never watched that.
That was incredible. So was Dollhouse.
Yeah,
which was also, and look,
I
don't think we watched it, but Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, I watched that religiously.
But those were like one shots, like over the course of like generations.
Dude, I bought a TiVo. Back when Buffy was, I bought a TiVo to be able to keep up with Buffy the Vampire Slayer because I loved it. I loved it, and you know, it was right before I started touring and really not being around, so you had to. I mean, there was no like DVR back then. Oh, yeah. Buffy was awesome.
I'd have to set the timer on my VCR.
Yeah.
So I could watch WCW and then Raw.
There you go.
2 VCRs going. And comic books, the most recent trade paperbacks I got, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, She-Hulk. That's going to be my shit I love. She-Hulk.
Yeah. She-Hulk's awesome.
Is Moon Knight a woman? I'm just kidding.
Dude, you never know. There's been 9 Moon Knights.
Well, there's also been Thor, who's now a woman.
Which is awesome.
So that's kind of like right now. I think it's good. If I were a teenage girl right now, I'd be very happy. My inner teenage girl right now is happy.
Yeah. My little cousin, she's got to be 9 now. I brought her like a birthday present, and she was like swimming around in the pool, and like, you know, a bunch of years back she was into princesses and everything, and I was like, oh, so I'm not like your mermaid. And she looked at me, she's like, I'm not a mermaid. She's like, I'm not a princess. And I'm like, what?
Yes. My sister Maria had a daughter, and it is pink vomited everywhere.
Really?
It is pink to the point of like disgust. Kitchen's pink. She's got a pink vacuum. It's the worst stereotypical, like, oh, I have a daughter, I'm gonna buy her a toy vacuum cleaner. If I have a daughter, John, they will never get a toy vacuum cleaner. Yeah. They will go to Raw. They will play video games.
Yeah.
They will help me build motorcycles. Like, I just don't believe in stereotypes. I believe women should have something to look up to.
Hell yeah.
This is the most, like, I don't know. We're either winning. We are not doing this segment to try to get laid. We swear.
No, you're married.
I am happily married.
Very happily married.
And you're married to your music.
I'm married to something. Beer, I guess.
So this trend, switching over from superheroes a little bit.
Yeah.
Also because we don't have a box to open again this week.
It's so weird.
Next week we should have the
Is next week the Marvel?
No, next week is my my bespoke post.
Oh.
And I got the copper set, which is gonna be how to make crushed ice.
What?
And another ginger drink. So we might be doing a Russian meal. Maybe not next week, but the week afterwards, because we might not be doing an episode next week.
We're not sure.
So,
definitely, if there's another ginger drink, I'm definitely bringing Rolaids.
I don't understand. Ginger's supposed to be a natural, like, belly okayer.
Yeah, for me, it don't work.
Like, right now, I feel my stomach. Like, this is, like, liquid Pepto-Bismol.
No, it's having the exact opposite effect to me. I mean, you know, I love the idea of the Bloody Mary. Love the idea of the Bloody Mary. If I even smell a Bloody Mary, it's like, oh, napalm.
Do you have to poop?
No, napalm going like fire, heartburn.
Oh, it's heartburn. I get
Yeah.
heartburn. Acid reflux type stuff?
Yeah, it's something.
I have bad tummy things, too, but that's usually because all I eat is cereal.
You do eat a lot of cereal.
That's all I eat is cereal.
He does eat a lot
I
of
don't know
cereal.
how to cook. I just eat cereal. And my dad's a chef. It's
Which
sad.
is funny. Yeah.
My favorite cereal, by the way. Oh, you are not doing well. All right, switch off. Battery saver. All good.
Yeah, we're good.
So, cereal. But we don't want to talk about cereal right now.
No, we will do a full episode of cereal one day. Today's not that day.
We are excited because Valentine's Day, and this weekend at least, is also the release of Deadpool.
Super psyched about Deadpool.
We are going to have a full review when we get back either next week or the week afterwards. But are you excited?
Dude, I'm very excited. They talked about this movie. They've been talking about this movie for years. Ryan Reynolds has been championing this movie for so many years, and I think he's hilarious. I mean, I think he's one of the things that, you know, I don't think they give him enough credit for. His comedic timing is off the chain. So they were like, we're gonna do it. He finally got over the Green Lantern hump. They're gonna make this movie, and he kept pushing until they gave it the R rating.
Wait, no. He also did that weird test footage thing.
Well, he shot some test footage and just released it.
Yep.
Just to get people psyched, which, you know, it's better to ask forgiveness and permission sometimes. So I think that was great. I saw the test footage and I'm like, wow, man, I still don't think there's any way they're going to let this slide and be an R-rated movie. Like, the test footage is one thing. It's an R-rated movie, and we're going to get, like, some really raunchy humor. We're going to get the things that Deadpool's actually known for. Lots of blood, lots of breaking the fourth wall.
Wink,
it's going to
wink.
be awesome. Nod, nod.
The early reviews, I don't know if you've seen.
I have?
It's been fluctuating between a 94 and an 88% Rotten Tomato.
Which is still awesome.
Yeah, but that's some big ones out there already.
Yeah.
It's got some decent reviews. I think tomorrow we should have the floodgates open.
Yeah, absolutely, because I think the premiere was tomorrow night, I think.
Mm-hmm. So let's get it out there. I actually enjoyed both the Punisher movies, which were the last R-rated Marvel movies pre-Disney.
That was pre-Disney, though.
I think that was pre-Marvel Universe too. Marvel.
It was
Cinematic
pre-Marvel
Universe.
Universe.
There was the regular Punisher and Punisher Warzone. The second based off of the Garth Ennis storyline from Marvel Max.
First one was Thomas Jane. The second one was
the dude from from Rome. Big guy.
I know and I thought he looked great as the Punisher. Just can't remember his name.
But the storyline was very cartoony because it did get based very much off of that comic series.
Did. Yeah.
Kevin Nash was in it from
WCW
at the time. And it got panned. It was super violent. It was everything the comic book was, which was great, but nobody liked it. And to this day, people still badmouth it. But I really think you should give them both another chance next time you're in the air and you can watch something.
I enjoyed both of them for what they were. I mean, my one issue, I think, with the Thomas Jane one, because I thought Thomas Jane was great as the Punisher. My issue was it was in Miami instead of being in New York, which I thought was just just so arbitrary and weird.
And if you're young and you're digging back to Finance Punisher movies, do not confuse them with the Dolph Lundgren movie that doesn't have the skull.
That one warrants all the hate.
All the hate. I don't think it ever actually got a proper release.
I think it was in the theater for like a week and a half.
Or straight to video. I can't remember. Either that or the Captain America Fantastic Four one.
I'm excited to see what John Barenthal does with the Punisher on Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's coming up, and he was great in The Walking
Dead. And Daredevil is awesome.
Daredevil's awesome. I think Jessica Jones is way more awesome, but Daredevil,
wait,
pretty
who's
awesome.
Punisher going to be in Daredevil? Shane from Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Ho, 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 ho.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, I didn't know.
Well, you better call somebody.
Wow.
Dude, I think he's going to be great. There's some still photos, not in full uniform, not with the skull. I think he's going to be real mean in the Daredevil.
So, let's talk about virtual reality. I had never experienced virtual reality before until I got these fancy Google Cardboard. I don't know how I'd say fancy, non-fancy Google Cardboard. I knew that Samsung was working on a VR headset. Right. There is that other company whose name I'm blanking.
Oculus Rift.
Which is like $500 or something.
Hard to say with the drink in you.
The Samsung one's fairly expensive too. Well, Google decided to go all out there and release a cardboard VR viewer. It is basically two pieces of, I guess, glass or acrylic that's put in this cardboard box that you fold like origami, and you stick your phone into it. For this presentation, I'm going to use the Star Wars app and the Star Wars by Verizon Google Cardboard because that's what I have.
Now, how many different versions of this came out? There is the Kylo Ren.
There is
Stormtrooper.
There's a
BB-8.
There is an R2-D2.
And an R2-D2.
And that might be it.
That might be it.
And so they make this cool app. I'm going to open it up in a heartbeat. And it's called Star Wars. But there's also Google Cardboard app that does, like, you can walk around Paris. You can do Google Maps. And you choose, in this one, you choose one of the scenes. You can still get, this app will work with any Google Cardboard. Counts down to 1. And then it does a split screen type thing. You center the app. Oh, we got to get through the Star Wars entrance here. So if you've ever watched 3D before, like 3D on your TV, they do a split screen thing. Carlos taught me about that. And that allows, when you put on the glasses, to combine the scene into a 3D rendition. I'm not sure how that happens. I'm trying to get through this, like, so you can see the things. Basically, you throw this into here. You close this up. You got a little button here. It's a cardboard button. And you stick this on. And while you're doing this, you are literally seeing the world in virtual reality. And what I mean by that is that the world is, you look down and you look up and you see the world you're in. You can do Hall 360. I'm going to let Hambone wear this so you can look ridiculous while I'm doing that. You're actually fully enveloped.
I gotta take off the cheaters.
I actually like wearing my glasses because I get weird. But you're actually in the universe. Like,
there's BB-8.
and you look up, you see the world. You look down. It's actually best to do it while standing up and doing a 360 circle. And in this version, Star Wars released about 3-4 minute clips each week to promote the movie, and you can just follow BB-8 around these little scenarios. And then you click through to the next thing. It's just a storyline. But I'm picturing what you could do with this, and this is a free cardboard VR viewer. If Sony were to include one of these in their PS4, PS5, if you could use the Samsung or the other one for video games, imagine playing Fallout in a world where you learn, can you please turn around?
No, BB-8's back there.
But I don't care about BB-8. Our viewers are right here.
I know, but they're into what I'm doing. I'm on Jakku.
That's a lovely haircut, by the way.
Thank you. Same guy for like 17 years.
I just beat Fallout 4 this week with all 4 factions. The Brotherhood of Steel was the best one to beat it with. They had the best storyline, even though I didn't agree with their political views. All I could think about was how immersive Fallout would be in a virtual reality viewer. And it's a situation where you probably couldn't walk around because you'd hit a wall. So you would still need the controller for the access, the DualShock, to move forward and backwards. But could you imagine playing video games where you are literally walking around the wasteland?
Yeah, the day that I can play virtual reality video games and be Simon Belmont, y'all ain't gonna never see me again. I'm out. Forget it.
Definitely,
I'm going after Dracula. First thing.
definitely for open world games. Definitely
Yeah.
for first person shooters.
Oh yeah.
I never believed in VR until I saw this. Now my memory is still back on the Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do.
Nintendo, many moons ago, we're talking about ROB robot era, Nintendo created a Game Boy that was some sort of ocular Viewmaster that allowed you to do very simple things. I think it was like Pong and type stuff.
Yeah. Very simple.
And it never caught on. It was really expensive. Nobody bought the games. They were very simplistic, like 1D type games.
Well, it's funny because they just gave this away.
Mhm.
Google just came up with this cardboard, gave it away. So you're thinking about how limited the technology was back when they were charging a premium for Virtual Boy, and now it's free.
Yeah, and Samsung, and I think I heard Google is now good. So the reason why we're doing this, Google announced this week that they are working on a high-end version of this. The Google Cardboard team is transitioning to a real-life VR viewer. That's going to be something
That's awesome.
And it probably would tie into the Google Glasses. And I'm just really curious to see how this is going to work in video games. I know the joke was always, this would be great for porn.
That would be terrible for
I
porn.
think it'd be very, very strange.
So weird.
Because it would be like first-person sex.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
Goggles on a flashlight.
Yeah, stop that.
What?
Stop that right now. But, again, for Fallout, especially just finishing the Fallout 4 universe, have you started playing Fallout yet?
No, I'm getting ready to move. I'm not playing any. I'm not going to immerse myself in any games.
Good, because that has, Allison's not speaking to me because she can't watch TV anymore.
No.
Because I have time. And even though I beat it with all 4 factions, I still need to, go find every single village that I did not go to.
Well, it's funny because on the PlayStation Network, we both have PlayStation. We're both on PlayStation Network.
You can find me at L_Greco_138. That's my gamer tag. PlayStation 4, I will friend you.
I use my PlayStation as a media viewer, so I know exactly how much Fallout you play. Because every time I'm on, I have it on I'm putting on Survivor Series, or I'm putting on Royal Rumble in the background while I'm working from home, and I just kind of look up. There he is.
Yeah, so I love Fallout. I love virtual reality. I wasn't sold on it until I used the Google Cardboard. If you can find a Google Cardboard, grab one. Google gives them away for free. The Star ones are probably tough to get right now.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of future uses for it, especially tied to smartphones.
Yes.
I know that's what they're pushing it. I mean, Google is pushing it for smartphone use apps. It sounds great for the Sony PlayStation for Fallout, but realistically, the fastest way to get into it will be to make apps for phones.
Oh, yeah.
Where you go around and use these things. I think that's how Samsung's planning on using it. And I'm excited. I might actually invest in... I'm waiting to see what Google does, because the Samsung one's, I think, only about $100, $200. I might actually plunk that down to see what I could do with it. But, I don't know, jury's still out. I'm just kind of excited. So now we're going to go to sad news.
Yeah.
Last night, yesterday afternoon, Daniel Bryan, our favorite wrestler, one of our favorite wrestlers, one of the greatest, I am a dude, I am not built big. I'm built like ham bone, except for a little more muscular.
A lot more muscular, but...
And I'm a pro wrestler, and
Yeah.
I won the belt multiple times. He announced on Twitter he was going to be retiring. He's been out of commission since WrestleMania, a little bit after WrestleMania.
Almost 2 years.
With a neck injury. No, not 2 years. Almost
Almost.
1 year. This past WrestleMania, he won the Intercontinental title.
I think it was...
Nope. The year before, he also got injured and went out.
Ah, that's right. Yeah.
He had a neck injury. This
That hurt a
time,
lot.
they stopped letting him come back. There was issues where he was saying he was cleared by his doctors, and the WWE didn't want to bring him back. There was all kinds of stupid rumors. Yesterday, he tweeted and said he was retiring. He would speak about it at the Raw last night, and he did.
So, initially, because, pro wrestling is a work of fiction, one of the first times he got injured badly, and he went out. He was out for a bit. He came back, and we all thought we were getting a retirement speech. But it was a rally. He's not going to retire. He's going to come back. He's going to come back better than ever. He did come back, and he got injured again.
And we were also very used to growing up with Shawn Michaels,
Right.
who lost his smile, broke his back, came back, had the best career of his life.
Exactly. So there was always hope, and if anyone was going to do it, it was going to be Daniel Bryan. So when the tweet went out, everyone freaked out. The internet, I think it pretty much broke the internet.
It trended on Twitter all day.
All day. The entire day. From the moment the tweet came out, he was still trending on Twitter this morning. We talked about it in our Facebook group about wrestling. We were kind of like, is it a work? Is he actually retiring? And I said, well, let's see. I haven't seen any other wrestlers or anyone having to do with it tweet about it or talk about it. And then within an hour of saying that, all the tweets, the Instagram posts, the Facebook posts are coming out where everyone is like, hashtag thank you, Daniel Bryan, you know, so sad about it. And I'm like, wow, I guess it's not a work. And then I think Jonathan Coachman
said this is not a work.
Yeah, he's like, Daniel Bryan's going to be on my show tomorrow. This is not a work. So, I mean, it still took a little while for it to set into me that he was actually going to get on Raw and call it a night. And he did. And it was...
We had to sit through 3 hours of the crappiest Raw we've seen in a while.
Well, some stuff was pretty fun.
The Dudley Boys turning heel was pretty good.
The Dudley Boys finally turned heel.
And the New Day is always good. But
New Day is always good.
He got there. We were worried because it was like 10 of 11, 5 of 11.
Yeah.
And he just got on like, wow, they're going to give him 5 minutes. It went till 11:30.
They gave him almost a full half hour. And after doing retrospectives on him the entire night, I would say maybe a solid third of Raw, when you break it down, was devoted to Daniel Bryan. And he gave a fantastic farewell speech, I think.
Basically said that what I thought was going to happen, I'm like, if this isn't a work, they might have found something worse. Of course, lately my fear was cancer because everybody seems to be getting cancer. But it turned out that they used a better concussion machine that really was able to isolate the fact that could cause brain damage.
Yeah.
And if he didn't stop wrestling, it would be bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
And didn't he say within the first year of his career when he was 18, he had 3 concussions or something?
Yeah, he's been wrestling, he said, for 18, almost 19 years. 3 concussions within his first year. A ton of concussions before he even got to the WWE. So, you know.
And look, it hit me hard because I was like, the last person to do a flying headbutt was Chris Benoit, who, due to concussions and steroid use and just being an asshole, killed his wife and son and then killed himself.
Yeah.
But they said his brain was all kinds of messed up when they finally autopsied him.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that way, the concussion thing's a big deal right now, especially with the movie. And
well, concussion thing it was always been a big deal, but now it's
become a much bigger deal.
Well, because everyone they're more open about everyone getting concussions now, and not to mention the revolving door and the circus parade of injuries that the WWE is experiencing now with everybody. Finn Balor got injured the other night. Yeah. So you know, it was very, very emotional. And then they, even on the WWE Network afterwards, they gave him another 10 minutes of just him walking around hugging everybody.
Yeah, I was impressed the way he went out. I'm very sad because he was the closest thing we had to someone like us.
Yeah.
Since CM Punk, but CM Punk was kind of a dick.
Yeah.
It was very. I hadn't seen something like that since Edge.
Yeah.
And that also caught me off guard. That was one of those ones where they didn't announce it beforehand. I remember watching it live, and Edge just came out and goes, "I'm retiring. I broke my neck. It's not going to be good."
Yeah. No, he can't.
Or he could break it because of the way his neck had been injured. He could break it very easily. Yeah. Working again.
I mean, you look at his body of work. The fact that he's still walking.
Does it bother you at all that we watch a fake sport?
Yes.
In which this many people are injured weekly? It actually bothered me yesterday.
Yeah, it kind of did. It's a bummer too because you never want to see someone give up a dream for any reason, especially when their body gives out on them like that. And it's just interesting because everyone who you would say that you watch wrestling to, unless they watch wrestling, it's like, oh, that's fake, that's fake. I think there are more people getting hurt for real in professional wrestling than there are in most sports.
Yeah, it's scary, and they tend to usually get injured doing stupid things like working out and just like it's not to get injured in the ring every week. It's
although a lot of separated shoulders from hitting that wall.
It kind of boggles my mind. Like, yeah, everybody tells me it's fake. Half my favorite wrestlers are out of commission right now on injuries. So the moral of the story is never do a flying headbutt.
Bad news bears, bro.
So let's finish this show up with shit we love this week.
Shit we love this week.
What do you got?
My first thing is that they gave Daniel Bryan almost a half hour to say goodbye. I'm pretty stoked about that. Pour one out for our homie.
I'm not spilling this on the floor.
I wouldn't do that. So the way you ran for that paper towel stack before.
Yeah.
Things that also make me happy. I was thinking about it today and thinking about, being younger than now being an adult. Being an adult's pretty awesome because you could do things like eat ice cream whenever you want. And there's something that's very comforting about that to me.
I did a blog post about that about a year ago where it's like, I would rather be adult than be a kid any day of the week.
Oh, I never want to be a kid again.
I would never want to be a kid again. No. I'm enjoying adulthood very much so.
I'm having so much more fun.
Even with a rough year last year, I'm still enjoying adulthood a lot more.
Absolutely.
My favorite stuff. So this is just my favorite thing I got this week. Not necessarily the cool shit I love, but something I do love. I got Miss Marvel book 2. Miss Marvel is, we should have brought her up during the Badass Heroines conversation before, but Marvel decided to turn Miss Marvel into Captain Marvel, the old blonde Carol Danvers, and start a new comic book about a Muslim superheroine who just gets powers. I can't quite, some weird mist. The whole way
mist.
Yeah, weird. The way she got it was strange, but she got powers. It's actually more like Mr. Plastic Man. Yeah, less like Miss Marvel, but the story is so good. It is about just teenage youth in Jersey City. It hits home. It's quality writing. It strays from the superhero world they can't figure out. You know, it's not the Marvel Universe. Even though it is in the Marvel Universe, the continuity makes sense. Great comic book, Miss Marvel. Pick it up. There's a few issues in so far. My favorite shit of the week is a new book. This is actually a little bit older book, but by my favorite artist, Squindo. He released The Year of the Skull. This was a Kickstarter. Every day last year, he decided to do a skull a day. And
well, that's fun.
He's a tattoo artist, and he's Metallica's personal T-shirt and poster artist. He does all the caricature work.
He's their skull guy?
He's their skull guy. He does all their like cool cartoony stuff. He does all their posters. Good friend of ours, mine. And highly recommend Squindo's Year of the Skull. He also has a new kids book coming out soon, and he's always up to all good stuff. Check him out. You can find Squindo, Squindo, on Facebook, on Instagram. All kinds of fun things. Anyway, that's a wrap for this week. It's up in the air whether we're going to do a show next week. We'll let you know ahead of time. If not, we'll be back the week after that. I am George. You can reach me at GLK Creative on Twitter and on Instagram. Cult of George on Periscope. cultofgeorge.com. cultofgeorge.com. Not Cult of George.
Dark
Cult of George. Dark and Stormy. This is so good.
I know. It's gone.
It makes my stomach feel so much better.
It's fine. It's up here.
And I'm working on a Cult of George playlist for Spotify, so you can listen to all the music that I love to listen to because I know best. John, how can they reach you?
They can find me on Twitter and on Periscope at Handbreaker. You can check me out at unwinnable.com for the podcast I'm a co-host of, Eye of the Beer Holder. If you like Dungeons and Dragons and hearing drunk guys talk about it, that's your hotspot right there.
Thank you very much for joining us for another edition of Mai Tai TV. We'll be back. We love you. We love the comments, the feedback. We're going to keep this going. Hopefully, we're going to come back stronger than ever with maybe some guests, maybe some guest bartenders. We'd love to get a band in here, but Tuesday nights at 9 is tough. Let us know if you want to be on this show.
Yeah.
We've got a seat right here, and I don't smell that bad.
George.
Right here. You could be sitting next to me on Mai Tai TV. Anyway, George, Hambone, we are out.
Aloha.
Перебиты, поломаны крылья, серой болью всю душу свело. Кокаина серебряная.